You know, what's the fastest way to really lose control of your life? It's not some huge external disaster. Nope, it's letting your emotions call all the shots. And today, we're going to learn how to change that.
This quote right here, man, it just nails it, doesn't it? It's such a simple, profound truth. The real damage, the stuff we regret, the strained relationships, it almost always comes from how we react, not from the thing that happened in the first place.
All right, so first up, let's dive into why these automatic gut-level reactions can be so incredibly destructive, not just for our goals, but for our own peace of mind.
Now, let me be super clear about something. This is not about becoming a robot. This isn't about feeling nothing. The goal here is to give you a real, practical method to feel everything, but still be the one who chooses your actions with purpose.
Okay, now let's get to the fundamental mindset shift. This is the big one. Honestly, if you can truly get this one idea, everything else just kind of clicks into place.
This is it. This is the absolute foundation of everything. You can't control the traffic, you can't control what your coworker says, you can't control the weather. But what you do have, 100% of the time, is control over how you respond. That's where all your power is, right there.
So let's make sure we're on the same page. When I say reaction control, I'm not talking about pretending you aren't angry or hurt. It's the skill of being aware of that anger, of noticing that hurt, and then consciously choosing what to do next. It's all about creating that space between feeling and acting.
Okay, that sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do it in the heat of the moment, when you're seeing red? Well, that's where this practical 5-step framework comes in. Think of this as your toolkit. We're going to break these down one by one. This is basically the roadmap that takes you from a knee-jerk reaction to a smart, intentional response.
Step 1. And honestly, this might be the most important one of all. Build the pause. See, our reactions are lightning fast. They're practically automatic. The only way you can stop that runaway train is to create a tiny gap, a little moment of space. That pause, it is everything.
And how do you do that? It's simpler than you think, and it's actually physical. Just take one deep, slow breath. Consciously drop your shoulders. We carry so much tension there, right? And then just silently say to yourself, okay, that's anger. These little things act like a pattern interrupt for your brain.
Okay, so you've created that pause. Now what? Step 2. You ask yourself 2 simple questions. First, what actually happened? That's the neutral fact. Like, my boss gave me critical feedback. Then ask, what's the story I'm telling myself about it? For example, my boss thinks I'm an idiot. Just seeing that difference between fact and story creates instant emotional distance. Step 3 is all about getting specific. You know, saying I'm angry is like this huge, messy storm cloud. But what if you said, I feel frustrated, or I feel disrespected? See, it's so much clearer. It gives your brain a real problem to solve, not just this overwhelming feeling to lash out at.
Step 4 is your ultimate safety net. A strong emotion screams for immediate action. It wants you to send that text, to say that cutting remark right now. But the simple act of delaying gives your rational brain a chance to catch up and get back online. Time is totally your best friend here.
And the ways to do it are classics for a reason. Seriously, just count to 10. It actually works. If you can, physically walk away for a minute, go get a glass of water. Or if you absolutely have to communicate, try writing it out first. It forces you to be so much more deliberate than just speaking in the heat of the moment. And that brings us to the last step, and it's probably the most powerful. After you've paused, separated fact from story, named the emotion, and delayed action, you ask this one question. This shifts the entire game from how do I feel right now to who do I want to be? Do you want to be calm, professional, kind? Let that answer be your guide, not the fleeting emotion. Okay, so we've got the framework, but knowing the path and walking the path are 2 very different things, right? So let's talk about the common traps we all fall into, and more importantly, how to train this skill so it actually becomes second nature. Take a look at these. Sound familiar? Getting defensive, sending that novel-length emotional text, the silent treatment. Come on, we've all been there. The goal isn't to pretend you don't feel the urge to do these things. The goal is to notice the urge. That's when it stops being a trap and starts being a choice. So how do we get better at this? Well, like any skill, it takes consistent practice. I'm going to give you 3 super simple exercises you can do to build that reaction control muscle. First up, the 60-second rule. This is your basic training.
The next time you get an email or a comment that just makes your blood boil, commit to waiting just 60 seconds before you type or speak. I know, it feels like an eternity at first, but trust me, it's an absolute game changer.
Second, the trigger log. At the end of the day, take 2 minutes. Think about a moment you got triggered. What was the event? What emotion did you feel? How did you react? And how did that work out for you? The magic here is that it makes your subconscious patterns totally obvious. After just a week, you'll see your own destructive loops with crystal clarity.
And finally, the rehearsal method. Look, if you know you have a tough conversation coming up, why would you just walk in cold? Mentally rehearse it. Plan how you want to respond if things get tense. Preparation beats raw emotion almost every single time.
So let's pull all this together. The point of all this work isn't to control events or to stop feeling things. It's about mastering your own life by mastering your response to it. When you can slow down that tiny space between a trigger and your response, man, everything starts to change. You make better decisions under pressure. Your relationships become more stable and trusting, and your own self-confidence just skyrockets because you know you can handle whatever life throws your way. I really want you to let this last one sink in. The people you admire for their composure, they aren't robots. They feel the same fear, frustration, and anger as everyone else. The difference is they have practiced being intentional with their actions, and that is a skill. It's a skill you can master too.